We are on the air again. Yay.
Well, look at us. I can't believe it's been only 2 weeks since the last time we spoke. It actually feels like a month has gone by.
Really? Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
well,
Jesus.
you must be having fun.
I'm not in my usual place. I am now in Italy, so you can see that. Well, I don't know if you
Yeah.
can tell I'm in Italy.
Oh,
I'm not happy about the little crack on the ceiling here, but it's still held up. So yeah. And then every so often I get dive bombed by a stink bug, but
yeah. Yeah.
uh, so far I've kept up on killing them. So,
Excellent.
but yeah, I'm on a loft. I'm in northern Italy,
Sweet.
and I just came back. I just came here from actually Tuscany, where I was tasting a shit ton of wine. So
That's always good. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was doing. So
Sweet. Oops.
and now I'm back in an office setting because I have, as I said, I have a little loft here with a table and my chair and my computer, and it's a round desk. And now I get on to working and writing and all that kind of thing.
Excellent. Good stuff.
So,
Yeah. Pay the
and
bills.
and you, what have you been up to? What's going on over there?
Well, I've had a okay. So we my my wife has got a certificate in culinary arts and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So, and we have a very diverse, as you know, taste in stuff. So I don't know if I ever showed you our spice cupboards,
no,
but
no, that I missed out on. Sorry.
we have multiple cupboards of spices.
Okay.
And just a while back, we decided that it was starting to get a little unwieldy and we should standardize. So we bought a whole bunch of bottles and collated everything and labeled everything and got it all nice and organized. But as part of that, I've got the 3D printing business. I've designed these little carriers so you can pull out 4 or 5 bottles of spice at a time and still keep everything organized. So I've been in production on those, well, design and production of those, and then there's been a couple of other things with the printing business that have come up over the past 2 weeks. So that has consumed a fair bit of time, and that's sort of what's been entertained me, aside from continuing to try to get all these expletive deleted edits into my manuscript.
And my final question is, what's the weather like before
Um,
we dive
uh,
into where we?
it has been warm and slushy, and then snowy, and now it's freaking cold again. Um, I've got
Okay.
minus 15 at the moment.
Woo.
Yeah.
I am we have basically a 30-degree swing here.
Yes.
So sorry.
Well, we'll
I have
get there.
not seen a minus since I have been here.
Right.
The closest we have come is 2 degrees at night.
Right. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So
We hit minus 20 overnight. So,
yes, yeah,
but we're not
two
New
overnight.
York. We didn't get 20 inches of snow. So,
No, I'd heard about New York, so
yeah.
that doesn't sound too cool or
No.
good or anything.
No. Fun times.
So, with you and I doing a lot of different stuff, let's see how we have progressed in the writing department before we head on to the question of the week.
Right.
Who wants to start?
I My next page here is page 214 for adding edits in. So I am past the 2/3 mark. Uh, it's starting to go a little quicker, um, but man, I've totally underestimated the amount of effort required.
For editing? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, not so much for editing, but for then getting it in, right? For
Yeah.
actually applying the edits to the manuscript and then going,
Yeah.
no, here's the third option.
I've always found that difficult too. That's the part. Yeah, it's great to sit down and edit it and do all that thing, and then it's like a combing through all the pages to make sure I put all the edits in. And oh, did I write something on the back of that page? Did I make sure I have the arrow that pushes it over? You know, did I also do it with my edits with a notebook. I don't know if you do that in
Right.
case you want to add a whole paragraph. So because if you're gonna add, if you add a word or a line, that's
Right.
fine. But when it gets to be a paragraph, and you go, oh, either I turn the page over or I do a notebook and I use the ABC system, right? So it can get to be a nightmare getting everything in. And I'm like, why did I even start this? I shouldn't have edited it anyway. As fine as it was.
Yeah, that's who is it, the Heinlein school of writing. You know, write it, don't edit it. And if your editor demands a change, argue with them, and then give in on a few. But otherwise, the way you wrote it is the way it should go to print. It's like,
The way it should be.
okay,
So you're on page 214.
yep,
Let's see. You were on actually edit. You were on page 106 last time.
yeah, yeah. So
Applying edits, and you'd added 730 words, I think.
roughly, yeah. Um,
So, any idea what you've added in your editing?
I have to fire up the app to find that out.
The
Hold on.
program to find that out?
Um,
Or do you think you're the same, or do you think you've added
Oh,
a
I
fair
probably
bit?
added like 100 or so. I mean, there's because in my case, I won't write a whole paragraph when I'm making that kind of note, but I'll just sort of go, okay, this needs to be rewritten, and then I'll rewrite it on screen. So it's really hard to tell. Just waiting for my app to finish loading and fire this
Well,
up.
while you're loading up, I'll tell you where I am. This is kind of an
Yeah,
interesting week, 2 weeks that I've had. Obviously, I was on the road tasting wines, so where I'm at is I'm preparing to edit because I'm entering a contest through Pro Writing Aid. I think I
right.
mentioned that last week that I was going to, give it a shot.
Yep.
Use their uh, I guess their review system to look at my book and give me its ideas. And then I guess they want basically the first three chapters. They want like 5,000 words. So I'm going to give them that based on their edits, so meaning their suggestions of edits.
Right.
So that's due the end of March. So I will be that's kind of what I'll be doing. But as life always throws you a curveball. I was on a train in Italy a few days ago, and this lady ran off the train for no apparent reason. She was just sitting in her seat, and then she kept looking behind her, and then suddenly the train stopped. She's still sitting in her seat. She seems aware of the world, and she just suddenly, like before the doors closed, burst off the train. And I was like, that's very interesting.
Yes.
I think there's a story in this.
Yes,
So
exactly.
literally on the train, I started writing this story about a guy who saw a woman leave the train very abruptly, and he's telling it to the cops as if he's reporting it because it was very strange. And the reason he thought it was strange was because 3 days later she was in the newspaper and he saw the article and she was dead. So there you go.
Right.
That's where I
Uh-huh.
am with that.
There you
So,
go. All right. Cool. So my app says, somewhat unreliably, that I've added 684 words.
so you're up to 684. So you're up another 700. That's
Yeah,
all right.
looks that way. Yeah. Yep.
So now you've got to be close to 74.
I've probably written 1,000 because there's a bunch of places where I've taken out bonus words that didn't add any value as well.
Bonus words. So
I mean,
yeah.
there's
So
there's one case where I circled a word and said expand this, and I sat there and I looked at it and I looked at it and I looked at it, and then I deleted the word, and it was better for it.
yeah. Sometimes that you think you want to really get into the nitty gritty of it, and you go, no, I'm just going to take that out and leave it as it is.
Exactly. Yeah, it's funny. It's definitely sometimes there's the less is more thing, right? It's just
Yeah.
like no, no. If I just remove that, then I don't have to sit here and try to figure out how to make it
Better
more elaborate.
or worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
A
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
worse.
I mean, I must have spent 15 minutes looking at different ways to expand it. and every one was unsatisfying. And then it's like, what if I just take this part out? Oh, okay, that
Have you,
works.
when you edit, do you edit at your desk or do you try to pick a different place to edit?
No, I am here. This is my screen for working on my manuscript. So,
Because
yeah.
I know you print it off, so when you edit, you're still at your desk.
Well, yeah. So flat disk over here, and
Yeah.
so this is the pile that's not in yet, right? So I just pick up a page, set it here, go through it, and then flip it over and put it into the pile that's done. Yep.
So sometimes I edit on my couch. I sit there, a little more relaxed, sit on the couch. I have learned not to edit in bed
Mm.
for the simple fact that there are times that I will be reading and making notes, and I'll wake up, and there's a line on the page as I guess I drifted off, and I'm like, boy, I hope what I forgot to write there wasn't important.
Yeah.
I've also written absolute like just garbage. Like I guess as I'm falling asleep, I'll just write whatever random three words have come into my head,
Right.
and then gone. Looked at it and go, well, that sentence doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I find myself falling asleep at my keyboard every once in a while, and it's just like, okay, close that and go lie down.
Oh, the worst part of falling asleep at your keyboard is if your hands hit a key,
Right. Yeah.
and it's usually like either the space key, or like a letter H,
Yeah. Exactly.
and you don't wake up until it's 3 pages later. So
Yeah. Bad.
if only your computer would actually tell you that you're doing that, I think
Yeah.
I'd be a lot happier if I could get that. So on to goals, I guess. What are the goals for the week?
Oh,
Two
well,
weeks.
I mean, the goal remains the same. I wanted to finish applying these edits 4 weeks ago, um, so
So it
finish
took you
the
four
damned
weeks to do
edits.
3 quarters.
Yeah.
So we should be done in another week and a half, maybe two.
We should be. Yeah, yeah. It sounds like I'm doing a third every 2 weeks, which is ridiculously slow as far as I'm concerned. But it appears to be
And
what it
then
is.
let's say you do finish it
Yes.
within this two. Let's say you just finish
Yeah.
it within 2 weeks. Then where do you go from there? You're now up to date, or you're looking at it again.
I print another copy without all of my inline comments and scene synopses and all that kind of crap, and do another read through to make sure that I know exactly where the hell I am in the story, and I've got all the bits together. Because you go through this and you say, wait a second, I'm introducing this a little bit too soon, or just a couple of things got moved around. So I want to read it again and just do minor flagging on stuff like that. Like if something happens out of sequence, I'll just go out of sequence, and try to get a, a really good feel for what the story is so far from a reader's perspective, and then finish the damn manuscript.
So the interesting part is you're not even finished the manuscript.
No, no, I'm not, because I mean this has been a really long process. Like I did what I refer to as draft zero, the crappy draft. Probably was finished 2 or 3 years ago now, and then I've drafted in all the other stuff to bring it up to a decent story. But in the process, you start to get fragmented. I need to make it sort of flow again. I want to get to the point where I've read through it and I know exactly where everything is, so I know what the ending's supposed to be, but in order to be able to nail it, I need to sort of refresh the whole context in a nice linear way, get to that point in the story and go, okay, now this is how it ends, right? So,
Okay.
yeah,
It's really interesting that again, two writing styles. I just keep going until the end,
yeah,
put it in a drawer, and then I will relook at something in 6 months.
I have the
or
original
so.
ending, which sucks,
Okay.
right? So it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, the first attempt at this started out strong and got weaker and weaker and weaker, and then just pissed itself out at the very end, right? Like,
Okay.
if you looked at my draft zero, you'd be going, "What the hell?" Right? It's just like it starts. It's got good hooks. It's got good structure, and then it just gets more labored, and then it's just like a forced ending. And it's like that's just because I didn't really have the whole structure of the plot together the way it should be. There's a bunch of elements missing, right? So that's when I
Yeah.
went back to read a pile of stuff on story structure, especially in my genre, and sat there and ruminated for God knows how many months until it's like, oh, okay, this is how I fix it. And so then I've gone back and I've added all this stuff in, right? Two subplots, a pile more characters, all sorts of complications. And now I'm back at that point where the crappy ending has to go and the new ending needs to be written. And I'm almost going to be pantsing it. Like, I know structurally what needs to happen, right? But the level of detail in my outline is much less granular at this point. I know roughly what needs to happen. I've figured out all the little bits, but I haven't got all the little bits down in there. They're all kind of stuck up in here, and so it's going to be hopefully just a big blast to the end, and then I'll edit that, and then I should actually have a draft.
Oh, but again, I don't go through that granularly. I just write the story, which is weird. Writing this suddenly new one that has come around. Because I don't want. Here's the problem: I don't want to write it. I didn't want to write anything. I
Right.
wanted to get into an editing mode,
Yes.
and now I've got this interesting story, which I never figure it's going to be a novel. I always figure it's going to be a story. I just never think it's going to be a novel. I don't know where it's going to go. So it could be a novella. It could
Right.
just be a short-ish story,
Hmm.
um, just for the fun of it. And I'm already on chapter 5.
Right.
So,
You're out of short
uh,
story turf.
yeah. So I think yeah, I haven't. By next time we talk, I'll tell you how many words I've got on this one, and then hopefully, better write these things down, or we'll forget all about them. Okay, and then I'll tell you where I am in my new editing
Right.
process.
Excellent.
So
It'll be interesting to
hopefully,
compare our editing experiences. I'm
well,
interested
I'm
in seeing how you do
you're
that.
going at it from we're going at it from two different ways if you think
Exactly.
about it. You're
Yeah.
going at it from your own. You're looking at it because you wanted to look at it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it because I sent it through an AI program for writing aid, and I had it analyze where I guess it has this thing where it analyzes where you need to work on it, where where you're strong.
Hmm.
Uh, have you hit all the proper beats that a
Right.
story requires? Does it have any are there any gaps in the story? I guess it's kind of like a line editor or a not a line editor, like a development editor.
That's a dev edit. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's kind of where I'm at. I think that's what it's doing.
Right.
As I've looked at the report, but I didn't want to go too in depth until I was ready to dive into it.
Right. And
So first
what's
time I'm going to be editing and writing at the same time because I have a deadline for the edit and
uh
I have no deadline for the writing. But I don't know if you've ever heard of Elizabeth. Can't remember what her last name is. She wrote Big Magic, and she talks about a story will come to you and you've got to write it or lose it.
right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
or else somebody else will get to it.
I usually, when I have ideas like that, I go into my note taking program and go blah 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 blah, and then I come back to it whenever, and if it remains interesting, then I'll work on it. And sometimes it's just like, yeah, that wouldn't have been worth tackling in the first place. So,
I got a bunch of novel ideas in my note-taking app, but I haven't looked at them yet because now women run off trains, and I'm already on that. So
so that editing process for you, how much work do you anticipate? Like, is it going to be rewrites, or is it just moving stuff around, or
well, I basically have a month and 6 days, right? Because if I
okay,
want to get it into the contest, that's what I have to do.
right?
So I already think the story is really good.
Okay.
I have sent it out to agents, and I have been roundly rejected by everyone.
Hmm.
I didn't exhaust the list because I think in the summer I just kind of went. I think I'm tired of the rejection,
Yes.
and I'm going to excuse me. Take a break, maybe look at it again. I got one. I had one agent give me some really nice feedback
Hmm.
that if I do decide to make certain changes, that she'd look at it again. And I had one agent tell me the story for its genre, which was it's considered a cozy mystery,
Hmm.
is too long, which I thought was very weird. I'd never been told it was too long.
Uh-huh.
But my book sits at somewhere in the 90,000, and you're supposed to be somewhere, 85,
Right.
82 for
Right.
a cozy mystery. So
Uh-huh.
I was like,
Yeah.
excuse me again. But yeah, so I guess I just got to read with the pro writing. So in about 2 weeks, we'll reconnect,
Yep.
and I will tell you what a pro writing aid development edit is like,
Cool. Okay.
and whether it's worth it or not, because it does cost money. Like it's not a
Right.
free thing, even though I am a pro writing aid member for life, because I figured I'm always going to write and I'm going to always need that,
Yeah.
to get them to do developmental edits, line edits, blah blah blah, costs. And again, it's just through AI,
Yeah.
but it does cost you. I want to go 50 bucks, at least $50, at
Wow.
least. So yeah, and then when you have to buy credits, and the credits are
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes the
Yeah.
credits go on sale, blah blah blah. So I bought some on sale at one point, and then just decided to use it on that.
Yeah. Interesting.
So I'm kind of hoping for the best on this. As for our question from last week,
Yes.
it was about working while traveling, and I
Right.
asked it as kind of a um, more of a selfish thing because I was traveling.
You are. Yes.
But I also wanted to know, like, if you take a couple of days and go somewhere, visit family, blah blah blah, do you take any work with you, or are you kind of I'm off the clock?
Um, I think it would depend on the trip. You know, I think if we were going away, like let's say we took a trip to Italy, right? I would probably be more in photography mode than in writing mode. Um, but at the same time, there's no way that I'm going to be offline. So I'm going to have something, and I have a tablet and this lovely device. Let's see if I can
Oh,
get it.
keyboard, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a. I got to get in the right center here. It's a fold-up keyboard, so it's
Oh, geez.
actually yay big, and Bluetooth. Um, so that has been very handy when I have been, traveling somewhere, because I can sit down, set the tablet up, and pop up the keyboard, and treat it like a computer.
Yeah, I have that. I have a Samsung that's about, I don't know, 13, not 13. Was that 13? No, probably 12 or 9 or whatever it is. Anyway, and then I have a keyboard that kind of matches it.
Right.
So it all
Yeah.
folds into this case, and yeah, it comes out to a packet. I don't have it with me, but
Yep.
basically think of a full size iPad, but in a full size Samsung. Keyboard goes with it. it all folds up, and lo and behold, that's my portable
Yep.
uh, computer-ish thing. Mostly use it for the wine stuff, but I've
Right.
used it for other stuff. But
Yeah. Yeah, it's a Bluetooth keyboard, so I can actually use it with my phone too, which has been helpful in a couple of cases when I'm really traveling light. So,
yeah, I could see that.
yeah.
But that would that but you haven't had that experience where you're trying to.
No, no. I think, if I'm going to be away, I'm going to try to be away. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here for a couple of months, so
Right. Yeah, that's different. If I
yeah.
was if I was mobile worker mode or something like that, then I'd bring the laptop.
I but look, I'll admit I do better at home. I was here also last year for a couple of months, and what I did there or then was I pitched to agents.
Hmm.
It felt right to do that. Um, I don't know if I've ever really written. Well, that's not true. I did that a few years ago. I wrote a little bit on the road. I would try to get a chapter done in the morning, but you've got to get up at like the ass crack of dawn,
Yeah.
like like 5 or 4 because you can't sleep, and then suddenly you're writing. Now that I'm here for a length of time, I have my own desk space. In theory, I'm supposed to be writing, and and as I said, for the first time in as long as I can remember, I wrote on a train.
Right.
So I usually like being at a desk and have my the right pen and the right paper and the right pad, and I need to this time I grabbed whatever pen I had. I have this as I lean forward, I have this Paper Republic notebook, this nice leather journal.
Right.
Uh, just basically, uh, I just started writing, and now I am in the middle of the story, and I am a little bit. I don't know if you're like this at all. I'm a little superstitious,
Yeah. Okay.
and so now I'm afraid to not use that pen, which I don't like. I don't like to write with. It's for small writing things, not for long writing things. And do I change the paper? Like, do I change the pad of paper, or do I continually write in that journal? Which I don't know. I have another story that I started in one uh, notebook, and then I ended up buying like 4 or 5 more blank notebooks from Tilly, just so that I could continue that story in those notebooks because I didn't want to lose the vibe from the notebook.
I see.
So, and I think it stems back to when I was in school, right? Any pen that I call it the magic pen. Any pen that you studied with, you brought it with you because it had the knowledge in the pen. It's not here. It's the pen that
I see.
yeah.
I do
So
not suffer from this affliction.
you don't know from the all-knowing pen?
No, no, no.
Oh, it's
Like,
the all-knowing pen, my friend. The all-knowing pen.
oh, the only problem I have is with pens that cease to work. Right?
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
because I
Okay.
always
So,
carry one
and what
around
do
in
you
my
do?
pocket.
What do you do for that?
Okay, so here we go. This is a 3D printed pen case,
Yeah.
which has in it a pen.
Yeah.
So now my pockets do not destroy my pen.
Yeah. I hate
There.
that when you get the crap in your pocket. Yeah.
Or crap, or just, I mean, I really like fine point pens, and the slightest little bit of dust or something like that makes it so they no longer write properly. And
That's true.
and
Okay.
you know, what's the point of carrying around a pen in your pocket if it isn't going to write right?
Yeah.
So it's like, and I just got tired of it. I had these are they're decent pens, they're
Good.
Uniball speedballs. They're not, the pen that writers all love, and you pull it out and
Yeah.
start to write, and you get scratch, splotty, splotty. It's like, fuck. So,
Which you know what? Let's call it there.
Okay.
for
Yeah.
the day,
Yeah.
and we'll put the hook in for next week.
All right.
Pens,
Ah.
writing implements. What do we like to use? And how do we choose a good writing device?
Right. All right.
I, I think that would be a good one.
Yeah.
All
It
right,
should,
let's do that for next week.
sounds good, man.
All right, brother. Thank you very
Okay.
much. It's
You're
good seeing you
welcome.
again.
Nice talking
Okay.
to you too.